We're heading to Tesco supermarket for today's beer. This is a Brithop from the Buxton Brewery, but can it be more like Oasis rather than Ocean Colour Scene? Keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing Brithop. This is another Buxton Brewery that seems to be sort of throwing out these beers in the supermarkets. Lots of different beers that they've got. This one is obviously a very distinctive sort of brown, very British sort of autumnal scene there really. It's called Brithop, whether that is a play on Britpop, hence my sort of my attempt at humour in the intro, but this is a Brithop. It's called it says a modern British hop IPA. So this is made with modern British hops. It doesn't actually say which ones. It just says an all British grown IPA showcasing some of the most exciting aromatic new hops to be developed by British hop growers. So I expect it'll be stuff like, you know, like those ones that had those experimental ones like the Jester and the Govina and those sort of ones that were all British hops. But it doesn't say what it actually is, but it's quite a big hitter. It's 6.8%. This was in Tesco's, £3, I think. Yeah, I think it was £3. So let's crack this open, get it in glass, see what it's all about. So I'm not quite sure what sort of style it's going to be. I'm expecting a sort of very orangey sort of, you know, because I know those other Buxton experimental were very sort of orange in their profile, really. So, you know, less tropical and more the sort of orangey as citrus sort of flavours I expect. But, you know, could be surprised. So, beer in a glass. Well, I mean, it looks a little bit darker in the screen than it does here. It's very sort of orangey. It looks a bit more amber in the screen there, but it's got a slight haze on it, and you can see there. It looks again, it looks hazier in the screen, but here, you know, it's almost like I can almost see through it a little bit. I can certainly see my fingers when I put them in front of him like that. So it's sort of a yellowy orange colour, lots of carbonation. You can see it moving pretty quickly, but we've got a quite compacted, nearly 3 fingers of pretty much ice white head. It looks not bad. Let's see what it smells like. Yeah, I mean, it's the aroma that I expected, really. Big hits of oranges, sweet oranges, almost, yeah, I mean, it's almost getting to a sort of a sweet marmalade sort of aroma. It's very inviting. I'm not picking up much else. Maybe a little bit of lemon peel in there and a bit of grapefruit. So let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. Not exactly the taste that I'm hitting. Yes, there's orange in there. It's quite, but there's a sort of an underlying bitterness in that orange. It's almost getting to the point where you're getting that orange peel. I'm trying to think if there's any other flavours. Big hits of orange. Maybe slight sort of tastes of apricot, some peach. Certainly the hop that we had fairly recently, which was an earnest hop, that was it. That had the apricot sort of flavour, similar to that. But there's also this quite maltiness about it, almost like, you know, a hybrid into India Pale Lager or something, that sort of flavour. That's what it's given me from this. It's got that sort of almost lagery sort of flavour, with this orange apricot sort of tinge, and then it sort of goes into this sort of quite dry sort of bitterness. It's almost, it's got those sort of hybrids. It's got elements of sort of those your new modern craft beers that we drink all the time on the channel, you know, with that sort of, with a nice fruity flavour with the orange. But then you're getting a little bit of the maltiness that you get in some sort of, certainly German pilsners, that sort of maltiness. And then it's sort of, you've got this lingering sort of dry bitterness, which is, I suppose it's almost like a sort of, you know, like a golden ale or even a bitter, really. It's a bit of a strange one, really. I think there'll be a lot of people that would really enjoy this. Certainly if you're into if you're not into your, like me, your New England IPAs with your big sort of fruit bombs, but you like a little bit of fruitiness, but you also want to know that it's a real, you know, that you're drinking a beer, then this might go down pretty well. It's quite smooth. The carbonation is there, and the body is sort of, it's almost, I wouldn't call it light, it wasn't overly light. It has this, there's this sort of slight, again, like a sort of, the slight sort of mouthfeel of a sort of a bitter, really. It's not overly carbonated, but there's a little bit of carbonation in there. And the body's almost like, I wouldn't call it creamy, but it's almost on that sort of level, really. Yeah, it's an interesting beer, this. So, Buxton Brithop. Yeah, I do think it's a more Oasis than Ocean Colour Scene. They were my two, in my mind, two good and pretty bad, I think, Britpop bands. But it's probably somewhere in between. It's probably more like a Blur or a Suede or a Pulp even. Not bad. Brithop. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Buxton Brewery's Brithop, a modern British hopped IPA. 6.8%, available in Tesco for around £3. £3.50, something like that. I think it was more than £3 though. Yeah, not too bad. Let's go through the scores though. Aroma. Well, when I first opened it, and even before, when it's sort of British, modern British hops, I was expecting much more of a sort of orangey sort of aroma. That's pretty much what I got. So you get orange, and it's almost marmalade in its sort of, in the orange rinds that you're getting a lot of the aroma. There's not much else. You could sort of be thinking, is there a little bit of grapefruit in there? There's a little bit of lemon sort of peel as well. But it's very much, orange is very dominant. So not bad, 12 out of 20 for aroma. Appearance, well, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I like the way that the head, it's got nice lace in the glass. It does have that sort of, dare I say it, almost like a lager appearance. It's got a slight haze, but it's not for a 6.8% IPA. It's sort of a medium hazed, but it looks pretty good. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I think solid, really. I like the way that you've got the head there that's well retained. You get a nice bit of frothiness. Again, like a lagery sort of bitter hybrid, really, there in terms of its body and its looks. So 8 for appearance, and then flavour. Well, like the appearance, you're getting a big hit of oranges, and you're getting a lot of the orange peel coming in as well. You're getting a lot of that sort of slight bitterness from the orange peel. There's a little bit of apricot in there as well. There's a little bit of lemon sort of rind opposed to the juice of a lemon. It's got this sort of dry bitterness. And it has this maltiness as well, which is almost like a German Pilsner in terms of its sort of flavour profile. It's got a good body though. It's a sort of medium sort of body, and it's smooth. It's not overly carbonated. It goes down really well. So I think it's not bad, but it doesn't do anything that amazing. I think certain people that like the lagers, like the German Pilsners, but like something a little bit maybe like the darker beers from Germany, this is more that sort of flavour to me, because it's got this real dry bitterness on the back end. So I'm going to get 31 for flavour. Value for money, well, 6.8%. It's quite high for an IPA, and it's a supermarket beer, £3, pretty good value. I'm going to get 8 out of 10. And then my overall experience, it's not bad. It's not my go-to style, but it's very drinkable. It's got this, even though it's got this sort of dry bitterness, it's quite refreshing. It's just, for me, it's like a lager bitter with a little bit of modern IPA sort of thrown in there, really. I mean, I suppose to some extent, if you think of some of the old, your sort of traditional IPAs, it's got a lot of that profile in it, but it's got slightly more, it's got just a slight more fruitiness to it. Not bad. I'm giving it 12 for overall experience. Tighten those scores up, we get a 71. So it's just about recommended. I think it's really going to be about, what sort of style of beer like. 6.8%, I think it's quite high. It doesn't drink like 6.8%. And it certainly goes down quite well. It's got this sort of, I think if you're in the mood for something a little bit more full-bodied than a lager, a little bit more flavoursome than a lager, this is pretty much a good step. But you still want that refreshment that you get from a lager that you may not get so much for a bitter. For me, that's what this is all about. It's not bad at all. 71, That's the total score. But let me know what you think. Have you had this one, the Buxton Brithop? There's a lot of Buxton beers about at the moment in various supermarkets. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a lot of people that really like them. Certainly still think the Citra IPA is pretty good. But a lot of the others are a little bit hit and miss. And this one I'd put in that sort of hit or miss category. Some people really like it. Some people will find it very average. But, you know, it's not a horrible beer. It's a well brewed, you know, good beer. But for me, if it's not your style, then maybe you won't like it. But give it a try. Let me know what you think. Do you think what I do in terms of it being a sort of lager bitter sort of modern hopped hybrid, as it were? So Brithop by Buxton Brewery, £3 thereabouts in Tesco's. Let me know what you think in the comments. And until the next one, you know what you're going to do. Keep on rocking.